All over South Florida this weekend. 95 for the high, 93 thereabouts, and 81 at Majic. Just a 20% chance of rain. It is Joe and Donna on Majic 102.7 here in South Florida, and we have a special guest. We say it's probably the first time we've had an actual Jackass in the room.
A literal one.
But a guy that did it on MTV and in movies, and crazy man, Steve-O, who has South Florida roots, man. Welcome back.
Right. Thank you guys so much for having me. This seems like an incredibly unlikely interview, and I'm extremely grateful.
Yes, nice. And where our buttons are poised on the dump button.
No, you'll be a good boy, right?
Yeah, well, I think you guys, during the break just then, we had a nice conversation, and I think that you guys are going to be okay. If anybody comes to my shows at the Fort Lauderdale Improv this weekend or the West Palm Beach Improv next weekend, not so clean.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. You started out as the guy that jumped off of big high, and you started off as a guy that endangered your life all the time, and now you're doing stand-up comedy. How did that happen?
You know, I started doing stand-up comedy 5 years ago when somebody, and it wasn't my intention to start doing stand-up comedy, but somebody invited me to a comedy club in Los Angeles. And what they asked me to do was to get on stage and do something crazy. They were thinking
some kind of Jackass antic. Yeah.
Right. And I didn't give it much thought. I said, yeah, sure, I'll come. And I figured I'd just come up with something when I got there. And I walked into this comedy club, and I looked around, and I thought, man, the craziest thing I could possibly do would be to get on stage and try stand-up. It was just terrifying. And I sat around, I waited for it to come my turn as I thought of different things I could throw out there to try and get laughs. And, sure enough, I got on stage, I threw some stuff out there, and people laughed, and I was hooked right away. I thought, man, imagine that. Imagine a possible future that didn't involve breaking bones and shoving things up my butt.
Wow.
You know? And I stuck with it as a hobby. I did it, on and off for this whole last 5 years, and I just got so into it. When we were filming the third Jackass movie, I was just immersed in the comedy clubs every night. And when that movie came out, I started getting offers to headline. And as soon as you put my name up on the marquee and it's a Steve-O show, I don't know how to let anyone sell tickets to a Steve-O show if I'm going to stand there and talk the whole time. So I do stand up and I tell outrageous true stories, crazy things that have happened with groupies, all this just, shameless true stories. And then I go into, the kind of Jackass, the tricks and stunts. And,
but I heard that people are, mad at you now because you do Pilates and you're a vegan and you're Mr. Health Nut, and they're going, wait a minute, that's not the Steve-O we love.
That's pretty funny. I lived a very unhealthy lifestyle for many years, and now I am, and I'm doing some catch-up work. I love being vegan. You guys did your research. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I take Pilates, and a lot of people think that's
yeah, but your core is so tight. He was showing us his core before the show.
Donna inspects all the men's core.
That's right. I need to see your core.
It's wild because I do. I go out of my way to be as healthy as I can. I've been clean and sober for over 3 years now. I quit smoking.
Round of applause. Good.
Don't hang around Donna. That'll change.
Yeah, I quit smoking cigarettes. I'm 100% vegan. I don't even drink coffee or soda anymore.
Wow, can't say that.
Wow.
We can't say that. We get up too early.
But when I go into these shows, I'm on a mission to prove that I'm just as wild, zany, and really crazy as I've ever been.
So you start each comedy show with a reading from St. Paul to the Corinthians.
It's I start off talking about my substance abuse issues and how just ridiculous it was because I've been sober ever since Johnny Knoxville stepped in and pulled this intervention on me. And you've got a serious problem when Johnny Knoxville is
your intervention guy. Yeah, that's very, very true.
Yeah,
well, he did a good job.
Well, yeah, they locked him up in a psychiatric ward because under California's 5150 law, if someone's being harmful to themselves or others, then you can lock them up against their will in a psych ward. And if you think about it, for Steve-O to be locked up in a psych ward because I was harmful to myself, by people who helped me hurt myself for 10 years.
Yeah, somehow it doesn't continue. Yeah, but it's turned out so well for you.
It's been really something, and you can't make somebody want to get better. But California's 5150 law states you can lock someone up for 3 days. when I got to this hospital, once I realized I wasn't going to calmly explain that it was a misunderstanding, and I got into the part of the hospital where the doors don't open, then I got belligerent, and I started throwing chairs around and stuff. So they changed my status from 3 days to 2 weeks. And with 2 weeks on my hands in the psych ward, you know, it took about 7 days for me to sort of come to the realization that I really desperately needed to make a change. And so then, you know, I became willing to go to rehab. I stayed in different rehabs for 6 months. Then I moved into a halfway house where I stayed until I had 2 full years of sobriety. And having that foundation was really, really helpful.
Well, welcome back. And tonight and Saturday night, Improv Fort Lauderdale, and then you're in Palm Beach. So do some funny stuff and stay alive, will you?
He's on his way now.
Here's the guy who
good.
attempted death. He'd probably slip off the stage and crack his head on a glass of
Something little's
orange juice
gonna
or
happen.
something.
Yeah, right. It is what it is. But the stand-up's going really well. The crazy stunts, you know. I really, you know, last night was my first show here in South Florida. Man, it was great. And everybody just come on down. It's the Fort Lauderdale Improv at the Seminole Hard Rock Casino. This weekend, next weekend, West Palm Beach Improv.
All right, Steve.
Nice
Thank you guys so
to
much.
meet you.
What an honor to be on Magic 102.7. I'm really, really psyched. You know, being a South Florida guy, I just love it. So
All right. Well, stay healthy, brother.
Yeah,
Have a good show tonight and next week, and there you go.
Yeah.
All right, it's 8:40 at Magic 102.7. We got breakfast with the Beatles. We're going to celebrate Paul McCartney's appearance tonight.